Aloha! Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited for today's workshop. It's going to be awesome. Welcome, my friends. Let me turn off my music. We got people joining. Dave's going to be in here in a second. Leave a comment really quick if you can hear me. I have this external microphone I want to test. So let's just test it out. Everybody can hear me? Okay, we got people joining, chat. Yes, we can hear. Oh, good. Thank you so much. Tina's coming in now. Yeah, so I'll just let everybody come in. This week is exciting. We got September, so we have a whole new topic for the workshop series, which we'll talk about in just a moment. See if Dave can get in here. Let's see. How's everybody doing? If you want to leave in the chat, let me know. I've been seeing all the posts on the social media, and it's exciting. One of the things that's really exciting about this 30-day yoga challenge, I'm having fun. Oh, good. Awesome, Jasmine. Yeah, one of the things that's really fun about the 30-day yoga challenge is it's kind of like the way that you can really build momentum in your teaching and to let people know that you're a teacher and to really blast that out to the world. And so it kind of kickstarts that in people's mind that follow you already, and you get new followers as well, especially if you're using hashtags and stuff. Hope says, I am amazed how many people have reached out to me and said I inspired them to do yoga daily and to start yoga. Oh, that's so cool, Hope. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it's really exciting, you know, because that's literally how I kickstarted my career. I mean, that's why I'm so passionate for you guys to do it too, because it definitely makes a big difference. You know, and I think that people sometimes feel like, oh, that's so old. Like people have been doing that forever. I don't want to do that because everyone's done it or everyone's doing it. But the truth is, as I mentioned before, that literally, you know, like people are still doing challenges. Tony Robbins, I think I mentioned the other day, you know, all these like really famous people that are like billionaires, they do challenges. Challenges are the way to go in every industry. So yoga is just one of the industries, but you know, they do like marketing challenges, they do like weight loss challenging, you know, like fitness, they do it in every industry. And so yoga challenges, I'm grateful to have been a catalyst for this global challenge kind of movement that's happened around the world, and it really did spread yoga a lot. You know, when I started in 2008 doing the challenges, nobody was doing online yoga challenges, but it started a huge wave. And now you can see, like, if you go on YouTube, I was one of the first teachers on there, and there was like nobody else teaching. There was like 2 other yoga teachers at the time, and now there's like tons of teachers on there, and they're all doing really well. They're doing success, they're having like lots of followers, they're building their own sort of like world around YouTube even. So that's another thing that I want to encourage everybody, just to sort of plant the seed. And I had really talked to Dave about this for many, many years. Now he's finally getting into it, so I'm really happy and proud of him. But took him a little while to get into YouTube, but now he's doing it. Let's see, Michelle says, hello, I'm here but still working in my day job, and I have to close out another meeting in the next 30 minutes before I can be full on today's call. I'm just going to mute myself. Okay, darling. Thank you for telling us. Yeah, so anyway, I just really excited about seeing you all do this, because I know this is going to catalyze a lot of beautiful things in your life. And just to kind of give you some perspective, it doesn't have to end with this 30 days. Like September is National Yoga Month, but you can continue to, you know, obviously post yoga pictures, meditation, post about yoga, post your teaching on social media. And then you can really feel that, you know, like the momentum that you build from this month is going to continue on, right? So that's the beautiful thing that I want to encourage everybody, just to kind of forward thinking a little bit, thinking into the future and seeing where this can go. And also, as we progress in this workshop series, you're going to learn a lot of things. So you're learning about how to do the yoga, you're learning how to adjust and assist, you're learning how to communicate, and also how to teach as well. And all of that. And another part of this teacher training, you're also going to learn how to lead breath work, meditations, you know, different types of mantras. I've been doing a lot of mantras for many, many years, and it's one of the best meditations to really open your heart. And so I like to encourage mantras, and so we're going to do more of that as well in some different workshop series. So this month, our focus is going to be more about the meditation, because we did the whole month of August was about the asanas and adjusting and everything, which is awesome. I love to hear your feedback, you guys. Who here loved the workshop series from August? Dave is such an incredible, beautiful, amazing teacher. He's a gift to the world, and we're so grateful and blessed to have him. I don't know where he is, but he should be coming pretty soon. But leave a comment, let me know how you've been liking the asana workshop series. Basically, I just have to apologize. Last week, I accidentally didn't record. So we didn't have that week. There was 2 weeks that I didn't record, and I don't know how come that happened. I think a big part of it is when I got started, I pushed the pause because I was, there was a delay in the start. So then I never unpushed the pause. So I'm sorry about that. I have some other workshops that we're going to, yay, Dave is here. I have some other videos that we're going to put in the place of that, since we didn't record that. And for example, I've been interviewing some different, you know, masters and stuff on social media. And so I'm going to include that. Like, I interviewed the other day the creator of the Miracle Morning. And the Miracle Morning is a big part of the yoga teacher training, honestly. And actually, we added a whole module in the teacher training. If you go in there, you'll see it. It's called the Miracle Morning. And we're going to do a lot of things with that. I wrote the yoga chapter on the Miracle Morning book. It became an international bestseller. Now they have like 20 different books in this series. It's a huge success. And it's so powerful. So if anybody's looking for a way to really like kickstart your day to have the most amazing day, I encourage the Miracle Morning. So we have a module in that. Dave, are you here? Let's see where Dave went, because I'm going to get him to mention. Oh, here he is. I'm going to get him to say something about specifically about the Miracle Morning. Dave, can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, I can. Yeah, sorry, my computer decided to update itself as I turned it on.
Oh, no problem. Good. Upgrades. Hey, I was just going to say, you know, we always do the Miracle Morning at the teacher trainings, and I wanted to see if you want to contribute to mention something about what you think about that, and how you feel about that being, I feel like it's a very important role in the teacher training. Like, it's such a beautiful way to start the day. So I included a module in the online training, all videos about the Miracle Morning. So if you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, the Miracle Morning, it's, I was there the first year that we did it, and it was like, okay, we're going to do this Miracle Morning. It's going to be great. So it means that you get to what would normally be class, you're getting there like an hour before. And then you go through this process of you read a little bit for like 10 minutes. And then you'll write your journal for 10 minutes. And then you'll do mantra for like 15 minutes. And then you'll do Kriya with a breath work as well for 15 minutes. And then you have like this, like 10 minutes of just sitting silent, quiet, meditating, which is beautiful. That's kind of my favorite bit of all of it. And then there's a little Shavasana at the end of it. But what it does is, in a retreat environment, it's brilliant because it's just the best way to start your day. Well, in any environment, really. I mean, you know, if you're getting up for work, if you can get up an hour early and do this before you go to work, you're onto a winner. Because what it does is it fires up all of the different systems of the body, like the eyes for reading, and you know, the breath work and the mantra and the writing means that the connection between the brain and the writing hand, you know, is going, the mind is going from visually, the visual system in the body is stimulated straight away. But then again, with all of the breath work and everything, by the time you step out to go to work, I mean, you're actually floating about this high off the ground as you go out to your day. But I do the Miracle Morning myself. I don't, maybe not do an hour, but I will always make sure that I'll do at least half an hour where I just get down and I set all them little systems in play before I step out of the day, which still in bed really, because before the Miracle Morning, I didn't realize just how much of the tiredness I was bringing into the day, of the sleep that I'd just come out of. I probably wasn't really out of my sleep for like another hour or an hour and a half before I was up to full capacity, if you like, you know, full personality and all of them sort of things going. But I realized after the Miracle Morning, bing, I'm on it. I'm wide awake. I'm ready to go. So I made it a big part of my retreats as well. So the retreats I do, we start every day with the Miracle Morning. And it's just brilliant. You just grow to love it. You just grow to love it. At first, you know, you're doing the old Sat Kriya, and you're thinking, oh my God, my arms are falling off, and you know, and all this. But it just breaks through so many things that you've already set in place before you've even got out of bed. It could be dreams you've had in the night, and it's setting your belief system for the day that you're just about to go out to. But you get into a Miracle Morning and it breaks down all of them things, and it brings the focus into the body, energizes all of the learning systems, the breath, the energetic body, everything. So I'm a huge fan of the Miracle Morning, and I've not read the book of whoever did it originally. I know it's a friend of Dashama's. I've just done the Pranashama Miracle Morning, and that works just fine for me. I didn't need to read a book after I was doing the Pranashama one because it was working for me. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I love it.
Awesome,
personally.
Dave. Thank you for sharing. That's so great. You know, I think that it's important for people to, you know, to really understand, like, it's not just some little thing. It can really change your life. And I think that's why I got so successful. It just kind of like condenses all the things that you probably should do every day into like one little practice, instead of like, I haven't read anything today, or somebody who feel like I haven't journaled, I didn't meditate. Like, it just puts it all into one spot. And you know, it's interesting because when I did my first teacher training, when I was getting certified, it was so funny because at the end of the training, it was such an interesting thing. I remember he gave us this spreadsheet, and it was like, here's what you need to do for the rest of your life to continue on your yoga journey, you know, to really deepen your practice and to be a great teacher. And it was like 5 hours of stuff, and I was thinking like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to do all this, because this is just, you know, like so overwhelming to me, you know, because we had been doing like 10 hours a day, but it was like during the teacher training, so you never think like, now I'm gonna do this also for the rest of my life. You're just like, all right, that's cool, and now I'm gonna go be a teacher. So when I transitioned from that, which was teacher training, into being a teacher, the big question in my heart was, how do I balance it all? You know, like, how do I maintain my personal practice while also teaching, doing my business, my marketing, and all the website and everything, and still the meditation. Like, there were so many pieces to it that I was like, this is going to be tough. How do I balance this all, right? And then what happened was I realized at a certain point, the great thing about being a teacher is that your whole life does kind of become surrounded by this stuff. So it's like then actually like doing the practices, teaching, doing all the things that you want to do every day, all find their natural place. But the nice thing about the Miracle Morning is it's a great way to kind of condense the meditation, Kriya, visualizing, journaling, reading, this whole like thing first in the morning, and then your yoga practice, and then it's all out of the way first thing in the morning. So whenever I can do that, I always feel like it's the best way to start the day. Let's see, Tina says, I haven't read the book, but I do some of the aspects in the morning. I just need to gradually get myself used to earlier mornings to be able to do all 6. Yeah, you know, that's the whole thing. But here's the other part. You don't have to do all 6 for 10 minutes each. You could do all 6 for 5 minutes each. Then it's only a 30-minute morning session, and that's also okay. Like, you don't have to feel like rigidly stuck in a way that it has to be. You're going to adapt it to what feels right to you. So in that sense, my deepest advice that I can offer is just, do what you can and never like let it feel overwhelming. But if it feels like it's serving you, if it feels like it's helping your life, if it feels like it's, like that you love doing it and that you want to do it more, a lot of people feel that way. So then it takes a little time to get to that place, because you got to work through the, like, I'm tired and I don't want to get up early. Those are like the mind that's lazy a little, and then also kind of programmed in the old patterns of, not doing things that are good for us. Let's see, Hope says, I feel so much better when I get it all out of the way. Just starts me off in the right foot. Only works when I can get my kids to bed early though. Yeah, I imagine. So this is actually the author of the book. He has kids, and that was a big thing that he said, was that, he started doing the Miracle Morning. One of the reasons was because he would do it before they woke up. And that was the best thing, was that he would have this peace and quiet time before the kids got up. And so he's crazy. He will get up literally 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m. Like, he is really, really dedicated. But, a lot of people, 5 or 6 a.m. is more than good. But the point is that, he was saying he did it originally because that was like his quiet time. And then it was so great because it gave him this recharge of like personal power in a way, because it was like he's taking his time back, and that's such a cool thing. And then also then now the kids are all older and he does it with them, and he has a whole Miracle Morning that he does with the kids, which I think is awesome as well. Like, if I have some kids, that would be such a good way, teaching kids Miracle Morning. In the first part, you're doing some meditations, breath work, like all sorts of reading. They will love it if you get them programmed into it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is just such a good thing. So I added that into the teacher training module. You will see in the module, there's we've organized a lot. And has anybody looked and noticed how lots of things have been shifting around? Hopefully you have. And also in a good way, because the positive thing of that is that, we had all this amazing content that I have filmed over the years at teacher trainings mostly, but also just around the world, really great teaching content. And it was just all like lumped together in one module at the bottom, like totally unorganized. And so what we did was, we're just organizing it now. So it's like so much better. My sister Bokar is helping, and I'm so, so, so grateful. So we're basically getting it all perfect for you guys. And you'll see the different modules. So we have Miracle Morning module. We also have a module for meditations, a really big module with lots of cool meditations. We have a module for Kundalini. I'm putting a module for Kundalini Kriyas. I have a module for EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. I have a module for Tantra, which we don't have a lot of content in that one yet, but I'm going to add more content hopefully. And I have a module for even nutrition and diet and detoxing. And a module for Ayurveda, and we're gonna actually have a whole new extra module for Ayurveda soon. And then so we have like a lot of modules, and I'm gonna add like another module. Oh, and then we have a whole module that's all live workshops. So a lot of these, Dave was there, and we filmed the workshops and the live teacher training in Bali. And so I have those videos from the trainings. And so we have a whole module with these live workshops. There's a couple from Miami, but a lot of them are from Bali. And these are really cool because they're also like very hands-on. You'll see like, you know, one-on-one with a student, and we're going through like if they have a shoulder pain, and we're going over the specifics on what to do for somebody with that specific injury with yoga. And there's a lot of that kind of content. And then there's also modules about like live, like longer classes, like classes that are at least 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. So you'll have a lot more long classes that you can practice and learn from. And so there's just like lots of really great modules. Now you're gonna see that as it's organized. And then Dave has a whole bunch of, in the asana module, he has like all the asanas, and Dave's gonna add more content as well whenever he wants. And so we just have like a lot of really great stuff. So I'm excited about that. After the 30-day yoga challenge, you're gonna transition into starting this other content, and it's a journey, and it's exciting. So I just wanted to kind of give that.
Also, outside of the teacher training module, I think there's roughly 40 full classes on my YouTube channel. So if you were, you know, if well, one, if you just want to know how I teach, you know, what my classes are like, you know, them sort of things, how I put my sequences together, you know, you can go and use that as reference material for your teacher training, because all of these things about the pose families and stuff that we've talked about in the past modules, you can see how I use them and how I put them together to create anything from a 7-minute class to an 1.5 hour class. It all, if you understand the pose families, you can get them to just flow nicely along all the way through till, like Tina knows how I do my classes because she's in them all the time. So by all means, go along to my YouTube. It's just Dave Smythe. And then there's lots of Pranashama videos on there actually from past retreats and things that we've done as well, little memories and that. So you can go back and have a look at some of them trips that we talk about in Bali and Hawaii and stuff as well. So I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, all of them classes are available for free. Obviously, if you want to go and have some reference material and stuff, by all means, you can use that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. I was actually, before you came on, I was just mentioning to everybody, I was telling them after the 30-day yoga challenge, you know, maybe they will start to plant the seed that they also can do a YouTube channel when they're a teacher. And I said, you know, and Dave, I was just mentioning, Dave also got a great channel going now. It took him some time to get into it, but he's finally doing it after I told him for 10 years. You know, sometimes things take time to really, you know, blossom. It's funny because my sister's the same way. I've been telling her for 10 years to do a YouTube channel, and she's like, now she tells me, I wish I would have listened to you 10 years ago. And I'm like, I know, everybody always says that about everything with me. They're like, because I always tell everybody the best advice, and then they don't do it. And then, you know, whatever the reason that you don't do it, that's your own thing. Like if you're like, oh, no one's gonna follow me, or like whatever your thing, or like maybe you're like, I'm not good on camera, I'm shy, blah, blah, blah. But the nice thing about making videos, and that's why even part of the teacher training, you're making videos, you're sharing them with us. So it's a small group, and also if you want to put them on Instagram, whatever, or Facebook. But the main thing is that you're getting the practice, first of all, teaching, and secondly, when you're on camera, the wonderful thing about making videos is that you get to critique yourself. So you literally see yourself teaching, and then you watch it, and then you're like, oh, that's what I look like. That's what I sound like. Okay, let me do some little bit of changes here and get better. And it helps you to improve. So this is not just like a vanity thing, like I have a YouTube channel. It's like so much cooler than that. It's like you're going to become a better teacher and you're going to build your confidence and all of these other things. This is also another reason why I really encourage everyone to do the social media posting, because some people don't like doing it, and then there are some people who have specifically requested that they don't want to do it because they don't feel that social media is safe. But for the most part, I mean, I built my whole career around social media, and nowadays, honestly, everybody in the world is on social media, you know, on almost. I mean, there's like a few people like that I personally know that are like really successful that are not on social media. And it's usually that they got successful before social media, or that they're on social media, but it's only their business and they don't have a personal page, which is also another idea. Like for anybody who's afraid of like putting yourself out there for whatever reason in a personal way, you can create a business page, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, whatever platform, and create it in a different name. So nobody has to even know your name, you know, like you could literally come up with a whole different personality. And that would also be cool. Like I have some friends that did that. I have a friend, this girl, Laura Sikora. She was a teacher with us. Dave remembers her. She came to the UK. Laura Sikora is actually not even her name. Her name is Laura Kasperzak. And she just chose this last name Sikora because it rhymes with Laura. It's the last name of this famous hockey player, apparently. She just grabbed this name and made her personality around Laura Sikora. And she just started posting her videos, mostly her pictures. You know, she would take really nice pictures of herself doing yoga. She has 2 little kids, so she was just trying to get her, you know, the reason that she had posted these was because she was going to track her own progress with her yoga practice. So she would posting, and then she will say, okay, this is me now, and here's me in a year. And she was going to show that progress, and which is really interesting. You know, like it's interesting to see your own progress, whether it's in the poses or even just your energy. One of the things that I've always seen with my older content is the energy is what really comes through as a transformation. Has anybody here ever noticed, for example, I don't know if you ever saw any of my old videos, right? And then if you see my newer videos, like the energy is much different, right? So that's another form of tracking your progress. But the other way is like a visual, like here's my pose and then here it is now. So it's like you can see you're getting progress. Anyway, so she did that, and she ended up getting over 1 million followers on Instagram, and she was posting with her and her little kids. So anyway, I don't know, somebody's doing some kind of weird thing. You guys hear this kind of like lawnmower? Or is it still good? You can hear my audio? Post a comment. Because all of a sudden somebody's...
I can hear you, okay.
You can hear it's fine? Okay.
Yeah. I use my Instagram to gauge just how much more grey hair I'm getting each time I post a photograph.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing to do. You know, it's an interesting progress thing. You can see yourself, and you can see the ways that you've improved, and you can see the good parts that have stayed the same. Somebody said to me the other day, the interesting thing about YouTube, I posted a video 7 or 8 years ago called Free Hugs. I don't know if you guys have seen my Free Hugs video, but back then, you know, it reached about 500,000 people, and I always thought that was great. You know, I got 500,000 people to see that, and it was a good energy. And then just in the last week, it went viral, and it reached over 2.5 million people 7 years later. So I was like, how cool is that? Like, YouTube is interesting. It's one of the only platforms besides for Pinterest that you literally can post something 7 years ago, and then 7 to 10 years later, it goes viral and it reaches millions of people. That never happens on Instagram. Like Instagram, you posted it last week, nobody cares anymore, but YouTube, because it's connected to Google, and so somehow the algorithm brings it back around every now and again or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but the point is, that's why I really encourage you to do YouTube. This topic today is gotten into a long kind of conversation around the Miracle Morning and social media, but I do want to encourage both of these things for you all, and it can really tremendously help you as a teacher, and just in your confidence alone. That's the number one thing. A lot of people come to me asking about advice about confidence. Let's see, Jasmine says, no, I don't think I can give free hugs. I miss free hugs from strangers. Oh, that's a good point. That was actually a thought that I have. Like, I have this idea, like, to compare 8 years ago to now. Because 8 years ago, I went around Santa Monica hugging everybody. Dogs, the police officer, the guy in the wheelchair, the guy on the bicycle. Like, I hugged everybody. And I never once thought, what if this person gives me an infectious disease? I never thought that, right? So it was like a totally different mindset. And from that beautiful, trusting energy, I didn't get sick. I never got anything from that. And in fact, I only got pure love and joy and so much good feeling, and reached a lot of people. And in fact, many people said to me, this is like the love pandemic, because it's spreading love. And when you watch this video, I hope you get to see it, and you see these hugs and this loving energy, it actually makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're getting these hugs. It's like, because the oxytocin from just seeing it kicks in the oxytocin in your brain. It's so interesting. Videos can do that, where you actually can kick in hormonal production of happiness from seeing it. So anyway, long story short, I was thinking, how interesting would it be now, right? Everyone in the mask, right? And so I was thinking about that. I might even do a video on it, because actually I'm not really afraid of coronavirus. I think it's mainly just like a normal flu. If you get it, you're going to be sick for a bit. It's not a huge ordeal. So my thought is, whatever, I might do it. But anyway, I'm not encouraging you all to do free hugs right now from the pandemic, but I am suggesting come up with creative ways to, share your beautiful energy through your audience, and you will see how it really grows. Like, that was one of the, I think, the reasons why my audience, specifically on social media, has grown, was because my intention. And, if anybody knows, I've been writing the book, The Flow State, and I have a free chapter. If anybody didn't read it yet, I have a free chapter for the Flow State book, and it's called The Universal Law of Intention. And your intention is the number one factor that will determine your success in life. Your overall outcome is your intention. So for me, my intention has always been to serve. And so, like, what can I share that will help people? What can I share that could uplift people? What positive energy can I put out? Even when I'm having a hard day, like, most of the time people probably think I only have good days. But every now and again I have a hard day, like deep emotion. I'm a very emotional person, so I process a lot of emotions. I feel the emotional energy of the whole planet all the time. I feel the climate crisis. I feel these people suffering on the other side of the world. I'm very empathic. So the long story short of that is I do feel a lot of emotions, but I try to generally put out the positive, because that actually helps me as well. It makes me focus towards a positive and brings me out of a funk if I'm in a funk, or puts me into a better place. So in that sense, the intention that I have is to always be a positive contribution in the lives of others, and to serve the world in the best possible way that I can, through my energy, through my time, through my life here. And that intention, this is something I actually was journaling about this morning, and I have this whole scripting thing. You'll see it in the, I'll put actually you can get that chapter here if anybody wants to read it, but it's just the flowstate.co. You can get the free chapter there. But basically, it's the law of intention. And there's a whole part in that that's all about scripting. So scripting your ideal day and sort of loading it up with intentions. And then scripting your ideal 10 years. So you write yourself a letter from 10 years in the future, looking back on this day and saying, you know, I did it. I'm a success. You know, like everything that I wanted to do, I did it. And it was even better than I thought, you know, like literally seeing it, it's done. It's done. It's done. There's no like question. I hope it works out. No, it's not like I hope it works out. It's definitely working out. The universe loves you. The universe wants to support you. So you just have to like trust that and moving forward with positive intention, do the work, do the actions, you know, create the life of your dreams. That's what it's about. So whatever the life of your dreams looks like, that's individual, you know, like we all have a different version of life of the dreams, right? But whatever that is, you can have it, you know, and that's what this law of intention is about, is that you just got to have the like really clear intention. And, you know, like people that have self-motivated intentions almost never succeed that well. It's like, if it's like, I just want to make a lot of money, I want to be famous, like that doesn't work. Sometimes, but generally it's not. But usually it's like, I want to impact people, I want to make a difference, I want to add value and contribute in a positive way to humanity. I want to be the type of person that the world you know, sees in a very high way, you know, like respected, whatever, like whatever you want. So it's just literally being clear on that and then living into that version of yourself. So the more you can live into, or we call it like step into your highest self and live from there. And it doesn't mean you'll always do that. Like, yeah, you're going to have times where you falter. You're going to have times where you know, fall on your face. We all do that, hit a wall, you know, go down into the trenches and have to heal a bunch of broken programs. But that's okay too. That's all part of it. So it's like, you never see that like it's like a meme, and it's like the guy, he's climbing a mountain, and it's like what people think, most people think success looks like this, straight line up. But success is really like this, and it's like all this up and down, and there's like big, you know, pitfalls and stuff, and then, you know, finally it goes up. So it's like success is more like this, right? It's not going to be straight up, always good. So we just have to like learn to go with that and like feel into what we need in every moment. Like if you need to heal something, focus on that. And that's the nice thing about being a yoga teacher and a prana shaman especially, is because the whole path is about energy healing and really honoring wherever you're at inside of yourself, and then healing that as it arises and having the tools available to do that. And then you know, sharing that. So that's really what it's about. It's like healing yourself, sharing what works for you. That's what I've done. And I feel like that's the number one thing that everybody can learn from what I've done, is that, you know, like it starts with you. So you don't just like learn these things and then teach them. You learn them, you practice them, they change your life, and then you share them from that place of authentic desire to help others to feel this transformational healing journey that you've been on. And I feel like that intention, that place, coming from service, coming from experience, coming from wisdom, that's when you really, really excel as a teacher. So in the beginning, it's a lot of practicing and learning, and it's exciting too. It's all like fun. The whole thing is like exciting part, because in the beginning, you're learning all this stuff. You're always learning. In the end of it, I mean, I'm only 15 years into teaching, but in the end of 15 years, it's still, every day I'm learning. But you get more deeper and intimate with the relationship with the guru within. And that's really the key. The guru within is source, is God, like God within us, God within you. That is ultimately the best teacher, you know. And if we learn how to listen deeply and tap into that voice that's always guiding us, that voice that's clear and loving but stern, and saying like, this is what you need to do, and you're sitting here like, I'm not doing it, and then you're suffering. But it's like, this is what you need to do. All right, I'm gonna do it, even if it's hard, even if it's not fun. I'm gonna do it because I know God is telling me to do it. The source within is telling me to do it. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to take action today because I'm ready. And that's the number one thing. I remember I had a friend, well, I had lots of people in my life, but one of my friends, for example, I remember she wanted to meet like a partner in her life. And I remember we were talking about it, and she was single. She had been married before. And we talked about it. I said, are you ready? And she actually sat there in honesty and she said, actually, I'm not ready. And she felt not ready. So that's why it wasn't coming. So it's like, this is a whole dynamic around life. It's like, are you ready for that next thing? Whatever you're calling in. Are you ready? And if not, it's okay too. But tap into what is it inside of you that's not ready. Is it fear? Is it lack of confidence? Is it whatever? So just getting clear on what is that that's making you not feel ready, and then working through that. And this is also the guidance of evolution, right? The soul needs to evolve, and the number one way that we evolve is by listening to the guidance within, letting go of what doesn't serve us, even if it's people, behaviors, patterns, programs, beliefs, whatever, and then moving towards what the guidance within is telling you to do. And I found the best way to really know what is the guidance telling to do is meditation. Really listening. You know, Bryant, he's a Pranashama with us. He had taught me something so good, and it's called, it sounds so simple, but it's really profound. It's called deep listening. You know, so often we listen just to get to our point of talking, right? So when you're listening to another person, you're just waiting for your turn to talk sometimes. But deep listening has nothing to do with talking. It's deep listening to life. What is life telling me right now? What is life guiding me to do right now? And this is the most profound type of meditation. It's when you can literally listen to the voice of God within and trust that voice and take action if it's giving you some action steps, but do no action if it's not giving you action steps. But listen, and also listen to your body. What does your body need right now? What is your, like your loved one that's in front of you? Listening without words. What do they really need? Sometimes a baby is crying, or a child is doing a tantrum, or they're acting out, or whatever. It's not about the thing. It's something deeper. There's a deeper need, and the deep listening helps us to find that. So anyway, deep listening is a big part of meditation. So I was feeling like this month we focus on meditation and really make it the priority. Make it the priority of our conversation, because we're in National Yoga Month. And for me, I have found tremendous healing benefits from the asanas, but even more from the meditation. Because as Buddha said, the mind is everything. What we think, we become. So it's like, we got to learn how to train our mind. That's the number one thing. And then, the body, it's all important. But the mind is what determines your state of being, how you feel in every moment. So we focus on that. And so there's different kinds of, oh, good. I'm glad you like the deep listening, Rui. there's different kinds of meditation. It's cool. Like my friend Jay Shetty, he just released his new book. If anybody wants to read it, I would encourage. It's called Think Like a Monk. And I was watching an interview with him yesterday. He was on Oprah magazine interview, and basically he said, it was so cool. He said there's 3 kinds of meditation, and I actually really resonated with his 3. Oh, Tina already got it. Oh, cool. Yay. But anyway, basically, first kind of meditation is breathing meditation. Second kind of and he correlated it to like the breathing meditation is really connecting to your body. So it connects you to your body, but really clears the energy and gets you very present in a good state. Now, the other kind of second kind of meditation, visualization meditation. So this one really connects you with your mind. And so you can actually work with and strengthen the power of your mind through visualization meditation. I love that style. And then the third one, which I really resonate the most, is mantra meditation. So this includes Sanskrit mantras, but also affirmations. So this one generally is connecting you to your heart, specifically if you're doing like singing mantras. So who here, leave a comment, who here does mantras or like sings mantras or even like listens to mantras in your house, like in your life, or even like if you go to yoga class, when they play those mantras, you enjoy that. Leave a comment, let me know. I feel like, oh, David's like, yeah, baby. Yeah, for me, mantras are the best. You know, and I actually like, I used to be so into like Krishna Das and these types of musicians, and I kind of got away from that. I got more into the Kundalini mantras, which I love. But it's interesting because, yes, the mantras I say silently to myself. Oh, cool, Jasmine. Yeah, so when last night I was at the beach, I was at the ocean, and I was chanting with Krishna Das, the Hare Krishna mantra. And I actually will like to do that with you guys today, only because it is so amazing. This mantra is so funny because it sounds funny like Hare Krishna, right? And people who are not really familiar with with the Hare Krishnas would think like, oh, this is a religious thing. But the profound joy that you can get from chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is really incredible. It's like, because Krishna was kind of like the Hindu version of Jesus, right? Christ, right? The Krishna is a Christ, and his energy is unconditional love and joy. So like he kind of like embodies that. So if you can get into that vibration, any way you can get there is a good thing. So this mantra that we're going to do today is so wonderful. You're going to love it. Let's see. Hope said, I've only done it in yoga class and with your videos on daily yoga. I had a wounded throat chakra. It was very hard before, and I'm better with it. Oh, good, Hope. I'm glad you're better now. Thank you for sharing. Michelle, I am back. Oh, good. We have a number of our own tribal chants, like mantras, that we sing out, but there are some purpose and some intent in using vibration and sound. Same purpose. Oh, cool. What, Michelle, what is your tribal chants? Like, what tribe is it from? That's amazing. I love all the kinds. I actually have some really good Native American chants, Hebrew as well. African, like there's so many amazing, I mean, like literally the profound bliss that you can find from mantras it's unlike anything else. Like, because when you sit there and you meditate, I mean, unless you're really good at meditating, I'm very good at meditating. So when I meditate, I can get into like a very amazing, expansive, blissful energy. But with, you know, if you're not to that level, sometimes meditation can be really, you know, challenging because you're just like, God, all these thoughts and stuff. But mantras, it puts you out of your thoughts. It puts you totally into your joy, into your heart, and into just like ecstatic bliss. So it's such a gift. Let's see. Michelle says, I am Anishinaabe Ojibwe.
Anishinaabe Ojibwe.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Is this a Native American tribe?
Yes. Yep.
Oh wow, I would love to hear any of your chants. I have some Lakota chants, but yeah, we'll that could be something in this workshop series. Anybody who has something that you want to share, this is going to be a great time for that. Dave says Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness, and it is also kind of like a mantra, but you don't necessarily sing it. But it's definitely one of the best, and it's like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And actually, I have a video about Ho'oponopono in the teacher training that incorporates EFT. So you're not only doing this prayer of forgiveness, but you're tapping. So this is releasing the emotion, the emotional charge that was connected to it. So it's powerful, you guys. This is something I highly recommend, and that's in the teacher training. You're gonna see it. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Dave, for sharing that. So that is a form of mantra, and you could do Ho'oponopono as a meditation mantra for sure. You could do that 10 minutes. Just keep repeating, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And what you want to also do when you're doing that one is seeing the person that you're saying it to. So it's not just like arbitrarily sending that out to everybody, but to specific people that you need to clear, because a big part of Ho'oponopono is forgiveness and clearing energy between people. So if you're like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. When you're doing that, you're seeing them and you're seeing this loving clearing, right? So that's a beautiful thing. Actually, I'm going to include in the teacher training, especially because I accidentally didn't put Dave's all, it makes you cry. Oh, well, it does if you need to release, because crying is great. It helps you to release anything, you know, so that's the beauty of it. But I have some workshops that I did back in June during the eclipses, and it's called Soul Reclaiming Workshops. And it has this Ho'oponopono, and it has a whole ceremony where you can do this. It's quite long, but it's a beautiful journey of healing all the connections in your lifetime, like going through one by one, seeing them, healing it, and letting it go. And it's a whole ceremony. It's 2.5, maybe 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And I have 2 of those. So I'm going to put those into the teacher training so you can see those. And I have some other stuff. I have the interview with Hal Elrod about the miracle morning. I have a meditation from the founder of the Oneness Temple, which is a huge, beautiful, beautiful place. And she leads a oneness meditation in the video. So I'm going to put that in the teacher training in the live section. And then I have a great interview with Jack Canfield, who's the, he was the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. They sold 500 million books, and it's one of the top selling books of all time. And he was in the movie The Secret. He's a friend of mine. So I have an interview with him. I'm going to put that in the teacher training. We were talking about a lot of beautiful things, but specifically about flow state and the power of getting into that, and his perspective on it, which is really amazing. And then I'm going to keep adding more. I'm going to be doing a live event with Deva Premal. Who here knows Deva Premal or has heard of her? She's a singer and she does mantras, right? You guys know who she is? Leave a comment. Let me know. But she's a friend, and we're going to do a live thing. It's on Facebook. You guys can join the live for sure if you want. I'll put a message out about it when we're going to do it. I think it's either on the 12th or the 19th. I have to check, but I think it's the 19th. But might be the 12th. So I got to check. But the point is, it's on a Saturday, I believe, and she's going to be doing an interview and talking about mantras. And these guys are like the leading people of the world on mantras. And actually, Deva Premal, they were nominated for Grammy Awards for their music, and so was Krishna Das as well. But anyway, so how do you spell her name? Deva Premal. You should check her out on Spotify if you don't already. She's amazing. I always play her Gayatri mantra. So if you guys want, we can sing that today as well. It's so amazing and beautiful. Gayatri mantra, it's kind of her signature mantra. She came from the tradition of Osho and Tantra lineage, and her partner are just so beautiful and blissful, and they just chant all around the world, and they really are like an angelic presence, and it's so nice. There's also Kundalini mantras. So I love mantras. So a big part of this series this month is going to also include mantras. We'll do meditations, we'll do breath work, and all sorts of good stuff. But for now, I'm coming to the completion of my introduction speech, and I'm going to bring Dave back on. We're going to have a little conversation about exactly what we want to share in the next 2 hours, because I want to make it also interactive. So what I feel would be a really cool, because this is a workshop, a good thing is we're going to lead some practices. Like I'm definitely going to do a mantra with us. So that will be all of us chanting together. And then we'll do a visualization meditation, and we'll do a breath work, right? So these are the 3 styles of meditation, and we're going to do those all today. And then what I would like, I feel like for the workshop portion, is for you all to kind of think to yourself, like, first of all, after we do all 3, which style resonates the most with you, right? Because this is something in the beginning you're going to really feel connected to one more than the other probably. And in the end, I do them all. So it's not like, and then you're stuck with that one forever. No, it's just, you're going to do them all, but there's going to be one that feels like it really serves you the best, right? For this time in your life. And that can change with time. So with time, maybe in the beginning, you really love, guided meditations with visualization, because it's easier. You just lay there and you don't think, and you just listen. It's an easier, more passive meditation, right? Whereas mantras, it requires you to do something, which is chanting, right? But or like the affirmations. But when you do that, you will just feel so good. It's like going for a run or going for a swim or dancing. It's like when you do it, it changes your vibration. It's the vibration, the frequency moving through you is so powerful. So that in itself is definitely one of the best. And then the last one, like I said, breath work. So breath work is so important because we can do this throughout the day. We can do this at any time. You could be driving and do some breath work. I actually drive and do mantras too. Dave does it as well, right, Dave? You do your mantras and you're driving. I think that's the best time. You're in the car. You can just blast it. You're just like, Krishna, Krishna. But it just gets the whole process of driving to be much nicer.
Good thing about singing in the car is I mean, I'm a singer anyway, I sing in bands and things like that. So, but what happens is when you sing, you project your voice out and it hits that windscreen and it comes straight back at you. So you really get to hear your own voice. So when you're singing along with a mantra, especially somebody like Diva Pavel, who is just exquisitely perfect all the time, it's easier for you to find that pitch and range that they're in when you can hear your own voice. So this is sort of going back to what we talked about last week, that oh my God, my voice, I don't like my voice. Somebody told them they sounded like a goat. And all of these things. But when you sing in the car, the voice comes straight back at you. Nobody else can hear as well. That's always a bonus. So it doesn't matter if you mess up. But you get to hear your voice. And what happens is the more you do it, your ear, your own natural sort of musical ear in there starts to recognize the tone of the music. And your ear will get in tune with that. And then you'll find that, you sing in tune more often than you don't sing in tune, because you find this natural balance in it. If anything that you do repetitively, you're going to get good at. That's just the way the body works. It has this system in it that says, Like if say you have to dig a hole, you go out there and you start digging, and within 5 minutes you've got all these blisters on your hands, but you still have to carry on digging. So by the end of the day, then blisters have probably burst and they're a bit sore, but the next day you have to go digging. So you go out there the next day and you pick the shovel up. By the end of that next day, them hands have toughened up and they've got calluses on them, and you can dig that hole for the rest of your life. Now that's a system in your body that's always going, what am I repeatedly doing? Because I need to concentrate on that. This is why people get really good at yoga quick, because this system goes, oh my God, I need to stretch the hamstrings and open the hips. And where normally it's just going, we'll toughen the hands up, or we'll just do this, or but suddenly you get people moving in all of their directions. It really fires this system up in the body of like really working on a whole body. So, and it's exactly the same with your voice. The more you do it, the more that it's a muscle, your voice, basically, it's a muscle. And it's like any muscle, you know, you can't just go into the gym for the first time and expect to pick up the heaviest weight with your little skinny arms. You've got to start small and you build up and you build up, and that muscle gets stronger. And then as that muscle gets stronger, so does your connection to that muscle get stronger. And then before you know it, you're happy as Larry's singing away all day. And, you know, and mantras are so good because they're generally really repetitive. You know, there's not lots and lots of words to remember, you know, like verses and verses and choruses, and everyone's a bit different. They're generally the same thing, just over and over again. And you're just creating that vibration. So the more you do it, the more you get that connection with listening to the music. Your ear will naturally start to become in tune with the music, and then that will then naturally bring your voice more into tune in it. And then the more you hear your voice, the more you get used to it. I was told right at the very beginning of my singing career that I had this, like I talked like my singing voice was like
Dave,
this.
before you continue, because I want you to continue, and I want I have to do an important call. It's about our Pranashama website, but I'm going to do it right now. So for the next like 30 minutes, then you want to lead the next little bit, and then I'm going to come back on and I'm going to do I'm going to do this mantra. So if you
that's cool.
Talk as much as you want, but also if you want to lead a guided meditation and or a breath work, that would be cool, because we're going to do all three. We're going to do the breath work, the guided meditation, and the mantra. I definitely want to lead the mantra, but
I'll let you do all three of them, because there's something I want to go over today, and we can do it like
perfect.
And
so you talk for like 30 minutes or maybe 45, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to lead these practices the last hour. Okay, you guys? Sorry, I have this new people. They're going to do our website, so I just have to get on that call. I forgot I had it at 9.
Yeah, no problem.
I love you. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
See you later. I've kind of got this, let me try this screen over here. Here we go. Where am I? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to just talk about that Dashama was talking about. One's the social media thing. Now, I work with a lot of top-end professional motorcycle racers. So what that means is that what they put out onto their social media and things is really scrutinized, and scrutinized by huge companies, you know, Honda, Yamaha. These huge firms are looking at your social media. So when you start to understand that, I mean, you can have a social media where you just sit there and you go, you know, that girl from down the road, she said, he said, you know, and all that sort of thing. But who cares is the thing. I mean, for me, my social media, I generally don't have an opinion about things. My yoga platform is for putting things about yoga out on. You know, I don't use it as a political platform. Even my own, I have the Dave Smythe Pranashama Isle of Man group, but my own personal Facebook page, it just has little things, maybe me out on the bikes or the odd piece of music I like, but generally it's still yoga. And what happens is that what you want to be doing with your social media is, one, you have to understand that, like it or not, it's part of the world. And 99% of the world are using it. And that 99% of the world are looking on it to find out what's happening, at what time, at what venue, and where. You know, I do it whether I'm looking for a local band playing, or I'm looking for what's on at the weekend, or any of these things. People will go to their social media, especially Facebook, and look for that. So this is your connection from being, like Dashama said to me, I had a studio for a while, and we worked it out. We had a conversation, we worked it out, and we said, right, okay, in my studio, I could probably get maybe, say I got 10 people in a class. Now, the majority of that 10 people would continue coming for maybe the whole year. They'd come to that one class every week for a year. And then, so say there's 8 of them people that do the whole year, but then there's this transient sort of 2 where sort of 2 drop out and another 2 might come in that are different. So we worked it out that I'm working away like mad and I'm trying to get my message out there to the world. And I'm thinking, right, in my studio, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. But when we actually worked it out, over the year, if my message got to 30 people in that studio, that's all it would have got to, because the majority of people were coming all the time, and then you would have maybe another 10 or something that would drop in and out and do some, and sometimes you might have more than 10, you might have less. But what it meant is that my message was only getting to 20 to 30 people. And it doesn't matter, you know, it could have been the greatest message in the world and the whole world could have needed to hear it, but only 30 people would have heard it. Now, through social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, these are now, you've got to stop thinking of them as social media and start thinking of them as part of your company. It's part of your business now. It's not, hi, look at me eating ice cream on the beach. I mean, that's all well and good and people love to see that, but generally, it's your business now. This is where you build your profile, where people see you. And like, I mean, I wanted to say as well that I'm super proud of everybody, because I can see in all of your posts and the videos how you're all growing into it. You're getting a little bit more comfortable every time you do it, and you're thinking, oh yeah, and you know, and I've seen, this is my first one. I would not have known if you hadn't put it on there. I would not know that it was the first one or not. You know, that's in you. I mean, you just put the content out. Nobody's judging whether it's the first class or your 100th class. What they're doing is they're connecting with you. So through your social media and what you post on that, what happens is they start to become familiar. They feel like they know you. They know your personality. They know the things that you like, where you go, and you kind of, and they want to be like that. You know, they aspire to go, oh, yeah, you know, that's the lifestyle I would like to have. I would like to be more like that. I'm not saying they want to be you, but when they see you and you're posting your positive affirmations out there, your good dietary tips, your good clothing tips, you know, makeup. I mean, I know you girls have all sorts of stuff that, like, I'm sure everybody, loads of people would be interested in how you all look so amazingly young and beautiful. You know, me on the other hand, there's no getting away with it anymore. But, you know, but I put a cookery class out. I never thought I would do that in a million years, but I make this vegan curry and I really liked it. And I just thought, well, I'm just going to stick a camera at it and I'm going to blag my way through it. And because I just make it up like somebody who's just left school, you know, I just chop it up into big pieces, throw it in a pan. This is how easy it is. You don't have to be master chef. And I put it out there. It just got loads of hits. And I was thinking, God, you know, I've been posting videos about yoga for years and never got anything like that. But what happens is that people start to feel like they know you. They get familiar with you. Then they click like, they subscribe. And these are people that, if you had a studio, would never, ever, ever probably get to the studio or ever even hear of you in that 20 people, unless they happen to know one of them people who came to your classes and they went, oh, you want to go to Dave's classes? They're really good. So your social media is kind of like, change your mental attachment to it. If it's not some thing that you know, I've got a new puppy or whatever, you know, it's a place of work now. You're using it to create an interest for yourself, you know. And I'm saying, I also want to say is that your choices, like some of Hope's pictures on the dock with the light and everything, these are brilliant, amazing. People look at them and go, oh, what a lovely picture that. Who is this person? You know, and then the next thing, they've got a connection. And all they've seen is a photograph of you doing just a nice pose. It always baffles me. I mean, I'm from a time before, I mean, they hadn't even gone to the moon when I was born, you know what I mean? So all of this is like very new to me. I was around before television, before mobile phones, before internet, computers, everything, you know. So all of this is like, I look at it and go, oh my God, what even is the half of this Snapchat? I mean, what does that even mean? You know, so I'm like this dinosaur that's like trying to navigate his way through this new digital age, but I understand that I need it. You know, it's not something I need to do. I need that to get out to people. And because, well, the reason why I need it is because, one, I need people to come to my classes because that's where I make my money. That's how I make my living. So I need to get, and some people will see something and they'll go, oh, I like that. I'd love to go to one of his classes. And then they'll have to see another post, and it takes them maybe a month to talk themselves into it. But it just by keeping that regular, just positive things. That's all it has to be. It doesn't even have to be you doing a yoga pose. It can be just a lovely picture of your garden and what that inspired in you at that moment. You know, talk about things like gratitude and, you know, like I'm going back to Hope again, but Hope has shared a lot of a story and that she's going through as she's doing it. So this gives people a real connection because you can guarantee if Hope is going through it, there's a lot of people out there in the world going through the same things. So what they do is when they see somebody who's like, you know, this is happening in my life and this is where I've been, but look what I'm doing to move myself forward and be positive, that inspires people to pick themselves up and see light in their own situation. And I really think that, you know, that's kind of our duty as Pranashama, is to just try and show people that we're more than the contents of the thoughts inside of our head, you know, and if we can move through these things, then we can achieve anything. So I'd like to go over, if you'd like, this is something I do on my retreats. It's called 16 Things to Give Up That Might Make You Happy. Are we up for it? Give me a thumbs up if you would like to do this. Okay. Now, you're allowed to unmute and sort of contribute at any time in these things. Okay. So it's just 16 things. Now this will help you because what it does is it makes you go, oh, that's me. You know, nearly all 16 when I first did this was me. So that's where I got them from. So, so the first one is give up the need to always be right. Okay. There are so many of us who can't stand the idea of being wrong, wanting to always be right. even at the risk of ending great relationships or causing a great deal of stress and pain for us or others. It is just not worth it. Whenever you feel the urgent need to jump into a fight over who is right and who is wrong, ask yourself this question: would I rather be right, or would I rather be kind? That's a quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Now, I was bad for this. I'd always have to have an opinion. And you've got to ask yourself, does it matter in their world whether I'm right or wrong, or whether they're right or wrong? I'm sure they're going to find out down the line anyway. So sometimes just by, letting people be people, we can sort of like save ourselves a whole world of, because it creates conflict when you challenge somebody about whether they're right or wrong. And then you've got to ask yourself, what difference does it make in your life, really? Generally, it doesn't make any, so that's number one. The second one is to give up the need for control. Be willing to give up your need to always control things that happen to you or around you, situations, events, people, etc. Whether they are loved ones or co-workers, or just strangers you meet on the street, just allow them to be. Allow everything and everyone to just be as they are, and you will see how much better that will make you feel. It's kind of like it. I come across this a lot. It's a little bit OCD that people, oh, we'll walk to the shop. Well, we'll walk to the shop my way. Do you know what I mean? Do you get that a lot? I come across it a lot in my life. It's like, we'll just, and then all of a sudden, somebody's the leader and you're being told what you can and can't do, and the order of things that are happening. And it's and I've always found that whenever I've kind of taken on that mantle, it's too much work, isn't it? Because when you're trying to control something, what that means is that you're not in the flow. Control is like trying to put a dam in front of the river. When you're in the flow of everything, you don't really need to control anything other than what's going on in your mind and what you're trying to create for yourself, what you're trying to manifest. And then you are in the flow, and you'll generally find that there's no need for control, because it's an illusion. By letting it go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond winning. That's a Lao Tzu quote. It's hard because we just want it to be the way we want it all the time. So giving up on that control is tough, and especially if you've had kids, because all you've been doing is trying to control them until they leave home, and so it's kind of this like inset habit. Yeah, are we ready to move on to the next one? Okay, so number 3 is give up on blame. Give up on your own need to blame others for what you have or don't have, for what you feel and don't feel. Stop giving your power away and start taking responsibility for your own life. So blame is externalizing to somebody else. It's like it's outside of me. Yeah. Now, I work a lot with the racers, and I'm afraid that, somebody else going around a motorcycle track faster than you has got nothing to do with them. It's got all to do with me. If they're going around the course faster than me, that's their deal and what they're doing. It doesn't make me any faster or slower. What I have to do is look here. What am I doing? What did I do? So this was a big lesson for me in my life, because I spent a lot of time very fearful and in fear of conflict. and confrontation, things like that, even if it was like, oh, that didn't work out and I kind of had to sort of take the blame. And then you kind of go, well, and if they'd have done this and if that had happened and if that had gone over there. And the truth of that is like, that doesn't mean anything. None of that means anything. What did I do? What did I do? So it's generally blame isn't external. I mean, you can, obviously there are times when it is, but generally, even if there is blame external of you, there's still something in you that you need to see why that happened in my life. Where's the lesson? The emotions throw all that all over the show because we get, about it. But if you can get behind the emotion in every experience that you have, good or bad, there's a lesson in there, and this is what stops the loops, the loops in your life, the repetitive loops that you get into. Like for me, early on, it was relationships. I'd have the same relationship over and over again, but with a different person. It'd start like, woo, this is great, and hey, and then it'd all be rose, and then all of a sudden, bing, what happened there? And then it would be horrible at the end. And then I'd have the same relationship with a different person. Exactly the same format, but a different person. And this would happen again and again until I woke up one day and thought, what am I not learning here? What am I, because this is just happening over and over again. So when we start to go past the blame game, because in relationships, of course, it's never your fault, is it, that a relationship breaks up? But it generally is. But we don't admit it, and it's all of that thing that goes on. But if we can get past that, there's a reason why that's happening in your life. There's a lesson in there for you to actually learn, and then your vibration goes up from that point, and then you don't attract that loop into your life again. For me, it was relationships over and over, and then when I broke the loop, I've now been married for 35 years. So there's kind of an example of it. I went from having like relationship after relationship and I'd invest in all of them relationships because I'm really empathetic and I sort of throw everything into the show, so every time it didn't work out, it was really emotional and I'd really get broken up about it a lot, and like just lose periods of time living in tracksuits and eating Doritos and things like that. So so yeah, give up blame, forget blame. What did I do? Where's the lesson for me in all of this? And then if you learn it, and generally you have to get past you have to go, okay, get past the ego voice that doesn't want to admit anything. And behind there's a voice going, well, we knew kind of, so if we don't do that again, we shouldn't attract that into our life again. Okay, so this is number 4 is a biggie. Okay, I come across this all the time. Give up your self-defeating self-talk. Oh my, how many are hurting themselves because of their polluted, negative, and repetitive self-defeating mindset. Don't believe everything that your mind is telling you, especially if it's negative and self-defeating. You are much better than that. So I have a quote for you here. The mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very, very destructive. Eckhart Tolle. So, hands up if you've ever given yourself a hard time. Yeah. You can't help it, can you, sometimes? It's just there, isn't it? That voice in your head. Well, let me tell you something about how it all works, okay? So there's a thing called the law of attraction, and I'm sure you've all heard of the law of attraction, and you've watched The Secret, and you've done all of them things. Okay. So can anybody, and this excludes the fact that you're on a computer screen looking at me and I'm talking to you, but can you give me anybody, and if you can, put your hand up and you can unmute and say, can anybody give me an example of the law of attraction happening right now, right in front of your face? And that's not me on the computer with you or anything like that. Tricky, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're looking around you, and I'm telling you, it's right in front of your face right now. Shall I explain? Okay. So this is where, once you get to understand this fundamental part of the law of attraction, you start to believe in it. Okay. So if I picked up this spoon, and if I let go of it, it's going to fall down, isn't it? Say yes, Dave. Yeah. Okay. So boom, there it goes. So that is what's known as gravity. Okay. Now we all believe in gravity, don't we? Say yes. Yes. Now gravity is a universal law. Okay. It's just a law in the universe. So we all accept it. Okay. So the law of attraction is exactly the same. It's a law of the universe. Now, I'll give you an example of the law of attraction right in front of you now. Is everything you can see. Everything you can see is the law of attraction in work. It's just a load of molecules pulled together at a vibrational state that manifests me, that manifests Rui, Tina, Jasmine, all of you. You are the law of attraction. You are a bunch of cells vibrating together and attracted to each other that create you. Your computer is doing exactly the same thing. Your carpet is doing exactly the same thing. The door, the window, the clouds, everything you can see is the law of attraction. If there was no law of attraction, nothing would exist. It would just all fall apart and just disappear. So when you understand the fundamental law of attraction is what holds everything together, it's what binds everything together to make you, me, my shirt, everything. You start to understand that, because what the things like The Secret and things have done, have made it sound like it's something external of you that you want to attract to you. Now that's just a way of using it. But you've got to understand that attracting something external from you starts with this conversation in your mind. Okay. So if we say, for instance, this is another thing I get a lot, is you pay somebody a compliment and they instantly go, oh, this, oh, I've had this for years, or it's this, or it's that. And they kind of demean whatever it is that you're paying the compliment to. You know, they kind of knock it back. Have you come across that? You might even do it yourself. It's hard to accept a compliment. That's what they say, but it's not really. It's the easiest thing in the world just to say thank you. You know, but what we generally do is go, oh, and we kind of demean it a little bit with our reply. Okay? So what that means is that you didn't even receive the compliment. The compliment, the good vibration came your way, and you just had this nice big tennis racket and just whacked it straight back to the person that gave it to you, and you didn't receive it. Okay. So now if we start to think about your wildest dreams that you really would love to manifest in your life, you know, maybe it's playing Glastonbury Festival, maybe it's being a megastar yoga teacher, maybe it's having millions of pounds, maybe it's the perfect man, maybe it's the, you know, a Ford Mustang, whatever it is out there that you've got this big dream and you think you're working towards and you're going to get this. How are you going to receive this into your life if you can't receive a compliment? You've put a block in front of it right at the very, very start of everything that you're trying to create starts with you. And if you can't accept a compliment, how are you going to accept £1 million when the universe comes to you? It's not going to manifest it for you because you're putting a block in front of it before you start. Does that make sense? So your homework for the next week is every time somebody gives you a compliment, you say thank you. And you walk away and you can feel as awkward and weird as you like about it, but it's not awkward and weird. You're just saying thank you for a compliment that somebody's paid you. you know, and it will happen. Someone will say, oh, your hair looks lovely, or, you know, all of these things. It's funny because when somebody puts a nice comment onto your Facebook post, you instantly put love hearts and thumbs up and thank you on it. But in real life, is that what you do? You know, when someone comes up to you and goes, oh, great, you know, that was yoga picture was amazing. I've just started. I'm only just getting going, and you know, and you flop it off. Well, just thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that spot. So I thought I'd take a picture in it. And you'll feel like a little bottle of pop. You'll feel like, you know, when you shake a bottle of pop up and you see all them bubbles rush up to the surface. That's what you'll feel like inside. This little, or this little fizzy bubbling thing. Is anybody aware of that book by, I think it's Dr. Yamamoto, The Power of Water, The Hidden Message in Water? Have you seen that book? And you see one that's all lovely and crystallized and beautiful. And then there's this sort of splodge on the other side. The crystally bit here, that's that bottle of pop feeling. When you accept that thank you, you know, you say thank you. So then not only have you accepted a compliment, you've answered it with gratitude for it as well. So all of a sudden, that little fizzy feeling is all of them water molecules that were just sort of flat on their ass, waiting for something to happen, waiting for you to accept that compliment. Suddenly go, woohoo, there we go, we're all snowflakes now and we're all individual and we start feeling good. You know, when somebody pays you a compliment, like, let's say, Betsy, loving your post this week, Betsy. Some of the leggings that you've worn as well are mint, you know what I mean? And I love the ones where you've put the collage of pictures around and everything. I think you're doing amazing. I think you're beautiful, and I think you should keep up the good work. There you go. Now, Betsy feels great now because I've seen and recognized the work that she's doing, and I haven't told any lies there. I've just told her exactly what I'm thinking when I'm looking at them posts. But Betsy now feels amazing. Now, if I'd have gone on there and said the complete opposite to Betsy, you would have seen her do this, sink, you know, and that's all of them lovely crystals from, you know, The Secret of Water. You've got to remember you're 80% water. 80% water, you know, and if you had a sign written there and you were going to stick it on the front of your glass, what's on yours? What's on that piece of paper that you personally are putting on that? Is it I'm not good enough? Is it I'm fat? Is it I'm stupid? Is it I'm, you know, this I am. It's so important that what follows that. I am is the highest vibrational frequency in the universe because it's the name of God. In the Bible, his name's mentioned once, and he says it to Moses, I am that I am. Okay, so we can take that as the name of God. And now, if the name of God created everything, then I am is carrying the highest manifestation vibrational frequency that there is, because it created everything, not just a new car or £1 million or a great career. It created the universe and the planets and every animal and plant and everything on it. So that is the highest frequency of manifestation that you can be, you know, putting out there. So if it's I am not worthy, not good enough, not strong, not, you're putting so much power behind them words that you need to be, you know, changing that conversation to, you know, I am good enough. I can do this. You know, there's no reason why you can't have everything that anybody else has had. It is, you know, when you come into this world, no matter where you're from or what you do, it is equal opportunity time. We all get a crack at life, one go at it, you know, and depending on your belief system, but let's just say for argument's sake, we get one crack at it. And generally these days, we're talking between, you know, if you're getting into your sort of mid to late 80s, you're doing okay. You know, you've had a good crack at the innings, you know. So are you going to spend like this short spell that you've got telling yourself you're not good enough? Or telling yourself that, you know, why not me? There is no reason why all of these wonderful things can't happen to me. And if you're doing it from a place of good intention, from your heart, you know, you're not hurting anybody along the way, or certainly that is not your intention to do that, the universe will manifest it for you. The mind is like a field, okay? And if you walk out into that field and you plant in one side of that field, you know, sunflowers, and then you plant on the other side of that field deadly nightshade, the field doesn't care. The field just gives you equal amounts of both. So what you feed the mind is what you then create in your life. That becomes your crop. So if you're feeding yourself deadly nightshade, you get more and more things coming into your life that try to compound that thoughts to you. They're like, confirm it. Oh, I could have told you that. The amount of people I meet who go, oh, don't give me that, I'll break it. They've already broke it before they've even touched it, because that's what they're manifesting into reality for themselves. So when you start changing your conversation with yourself, you've got to see more in yourself. You see, you really are worth something. Every one of us is the most unbelievable thing that we're aware of as a species. This is life. You know, this is the one thing that we can't even explain. We can go to the moon, we can build super jets, we can, you know, everything. But nobody can say what actually happens between the sperm and the egg that suddenly gives you consciousness. So what that is, human consciousness, as far as we know at this point, is the most precious thing in the universe. There's a whole sect of religion that believes that the universe all has its place, all the galaxies and things. It's like the beating heart, and, you know, and all of these things. This galaxy is the heart of the galaxy. This is the lungs of the galaxy. And this whole thing is just this whole living entity that's just growing, and we're kind of part of this. And the reason why we're here is we're the questioning voice of the universe. Without us, the theory is without us here to look at the universe wouldn't even be able to perceive itself. So we're here to ask the why, to understand it. You know, we really are precious. Every single person is precious. Majority of people in the world have no idea how precious they are. You know, so when you start seeing that, and it's like we do something called the love circle on the retreats, and there's the teacher's mat, and we all sit in a circle, and everybody at some point has to sit on that teacher's mat, and then we go round the mat. Everybody goes round and speaks to that one person. And the one person on the mat at the front is not allowed to say anything. They just have to sit there and receive. And then each person on the retreat has to say something nice about them, something positive that they've seen, something that they've done, just say something nice about it. Do you know what? It was the hardest thing I think I've ever done the first time I did it. I was sobbing like a baby, and I was asking Dashama whether I could please take a break, because I didn't know whether I could handle it anymore, you know, because all of these things that were coming to me were not things that I was saying to me. They were the complete opposite. But they weren't just saying it to be nice to me. These were things that people genuinely saw in me. And it inspired them in one way or another, or they'd seen something, and my conversation was none of that. And I find it so hard. I mean, I can pay a compliment to anybody all day and night, no problem. But receive one, it was really difficult, really, really difficult. And it went all the way through till I was thinking about it sort of as the days went on after the retreat. And it was like, and I was in not a good place, in my mind. I'd got stuck in my head. I had all past guilts and all sorts of things coming up. And and Dashama gave me the recording. She said, "Here, Dave, here's the recording of that love circle. I think you should listen to it again." I think she could see that I was generally going through the mill of it, in my mind. And so I sat down one night and I listened to it and I thought, God, you know what? Maybe it's about time I started to see some of these things in myself that all these other people are seeing in me. Maybe I should believe them. I mean, what do they actually get out of telling me that? They don't actually gain anything. So they must be just telling me because that's what they see. Maybe that is what I am. So then when it was like, I could kind of accept that, I started with the very first thank you to the first compliment, which was like so weird. It was like this strange feeling of saying thank you and not, because my humor has always been my defense all my life. I've got this wicked sense of humor, and I'll turn most things into a joke. And if you ever come to one of my classes, it's generally fun and we have a laugh in it, and and them sort of things. But it's been my preset, my defense, if you like, all my life. One, it was my defense when I was a fat person. So when I was obese, like 200 and something pounds, it was my humor was my defense, because you can't do anything about being fat. You're just fat. And it was like, not, you can't go and change your shirt and come out and, no, that's a better shirt. You just are. So, and as for as hurtful and everything that it was, I mean, it really did, if I'm honest, cut me deep, because there was nothing I could do about it. So what I'd just use my humor, and generally my humor would be to downgrade myself and make myself into a bit of a joke. That's what I would do. So, but then, here I am now. I'm not that person anymore, So the conversation in your own mind has to change, and then you can start to go on. And that's that self-defeating talk. I mean, I have another bit of homework. Write this down. We'll talk about it next week. So you need to make a note of this. I want you to just pay attention to your thoughts over the next sort of week. I mean, in fact, just over the next couple of days, and drop me a message on Facebook and tell me what you think about it. Okay. So I want you to just, before you react to your thoughts, observe them. And I want you to tell me how many different people are living inside your head. Okay. You'll find there's a person for every situation, but like, and then think, do I mean that? If there's a thing like road rage is a classic, people just go, hope your wheels fall off, and blah, 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 one of them. So that's somebody who's living in your head. That's someone in there that's gone, one of them. And we're back to that thing. And there's the person in the other car doesn't hear it, just hits that windscreen, and all that negativity just falls in your own lap. So like, but that's one of them people that is living in your head. He reacts like that, or she reacts like that. It's fiery, out it comes. But if you really stopped and thought about that statement, you'd think, do I want that person's wheels to fall off? They might have children and a wife. And no, that's the last thing I want to happen. I don't want that to happen at all. So when you catch yourself doing that, what you're following it with is, no, I don't want to think that. I don't want to think them thoughts. You catch yourself doing it and observe them and think, who said that? Because I wouldn't. The yoga person that's here, that's trying to be the yogi and, think right and all of these sort of things, you generally, they're not the things that you want to be sort of putting out there. So when you start observing these things, You start to think, and when you start to understand how many people are in there, you can start to tell some of them to shut up, because they're all just wanting a voice. But some of them just are not needed at certain times, and when they come blurting in, they don't make situations any better, you know. So when you start to observe your thought and then answer after, so don't have thought and mouth happening at the same time. Have a thought in a situation, observe it. Is this thought healthy for me or unhealthy for me? And then make your decision after that. And you think, is this, I can't wait 5 minutes every time somebody, it doesn't, it happens like this, you know, boom. Is that, you know, and there's an emotional response to anything, you know, but we want to get sort of behind the emotional response to the thought. Yeah. And then just, once you start to understand that there's all of these different voices in there, then you can start to hear your own voice in amongst all of them voices. And your own voice will generally have more reason to it than, because it won't be driven by emotion. You're always, you know, these voices. It's like when you're emotional breakup, oh, why me? Why does this always happen to me? And you get into the misery of the mindset, and you just like, if you're like me, I mean, it's like, let's go into weeks of misery and self-loathing about, you know, this relationship breaking up and how terrible it is and why me and the pity of it all. And then eventually there's this other voice that comes up that is just absolutely sick and tired of listening to my victim pity voice and goes, shut up. No, we're going to go out. We're going to pick ourselves up. And now, is that the same voice that's going, woe is me, the weight of the world? It's not. It's a facet behind that. It's you. When you start recognizing these people in your head and how trappy they are, you start to come back to you, which is where the truth is. You know, that's where your answers are when you ask yourself the heavy question. All of them voices will have an opinion and they'll all tell you something, but the you behind them voices is where you need to be drawing that question from, because that's the one who's going to tell you the truth, the one that's going to be truthful with you about the truth. Yeah. So stop dogging yourself down and start bigging yourself up, boy. Okay. It's an order, Dave said. It's the law now. Okay. So number 5, give up your limiting beliefs. Give up on your limiting beliefs about what you can and can't do, about what is possible or impossible. From now on, you are no longer going to allow your limiting to keep you stuck in the wrong place. Okay, this is a Elie Wiesel quote. So, a belief is not an idea held by the mind, it is an idea that holds the mind. Yeah. So beliefs are built upon this. This is belief here in the head. So the head knows everything. It's read, it's seen on telly, it's picked up in conversations with people, it's witnessed experiences, and what it does is it creates a belief system around its experiences. Does that make sense? So this only knows what these have seen and these have heard and this is tasted. It picks it all up from there. So we pick up beliefs about, like, there was a time when the belief system was that the world was flat, and then it changed to the world is round, and now there's a whole load of people who are now trying to convince us it's flat again. So my point of that is beliefs change. And they change from, you know, even you in your lifetime, if you can imagine, you know, going back to 14, 15 years old, and you knew everything. You had all your belief systems in place and nobody was telling you anything because you knew, and you were now a new adult and all of these things. Now we cut to present day with what we now know, And if we'd only known this then, life would be so much different. So beliefs change. Okay, so now if you think about the heart space, now the heart has this, it's the biggest electromagnetic field in the body. Okay, and the heart is doing this. It's going out in waves like this all the time, and it's got a huge field to it. I mean, you know, I think they've can even, some people's heart can be measured up to a mile away. I think, you know, the hugging mother, her heart energy is like, you know, she's already hugging people a mile away from her before they even get to her for the hug. So this is huge. This, you used to think that the head was the brain was the biggest electromagnetic field, but it's not. The heart is like tenfold bigger. So the heart is doing this, and it's going, are you like me? Are you like me? So go back to the law of attraction. Okay, so if you can imagine that, if you take yourself all the way down to the molecular level, if you were just one cell vibrating away like this, this knows that with this other cell, it can create more. Yeah. And it gathers more and more cells together until it creates you. Now, this is what's happening sort of in the womb and the development of you as a child, is these cells. And the same as even now, your liver is like, you know, brand new compared to the one that you had 7 weeks ago. Every cell in that has renewed itself. But they're all the same because they're creating that liver. Okay, so on a fundamental level, we know that we can sit here and I can do yoga on my own perfectly well, you know, but we know together we can create more. You know, let's say Rui, for instance, she sits down on a piano and she plays a piano and it's beautiful and it's mesmerizing and everything. But she knows that if she put an orchestra behind that, then there's all of this lift and fall and emotion that would just come with having that union together. Okay, so your heart is going like this. So this is working on that, down at that fundamental level. It's looking for other people that are like you. This is how we fall in love. We find people that are vibrating similar to us. These are your friends, the people that you get along with, because you can communicate with them. That means that you're vibrating on a very similar level to them. The people who you don't vibrate with, you fall out with, and they fall away and they fall out of your life because they vibrate with people who are vibrating like them. So for me, I had a whole period of my time, sort of after my brother and father died, that I just went into drugs. I just went into drugs and drinking and rock and roll band, and, you know, just did the whole thing, like, just, you know, and it was just basically threw a hood over my head for that period of time rather than deal with the grief that I was feeling. But in that period of time, there's a whole plethora of people who were my friends, who were quite happy to go out with me and drink and all of them things. Now, I don't think of them as not my friends anymore. You know, that isn't what I'm saying here. But as I've gone, this isn't healthy for me. You know, I need to make changes in my life, because if I don't, I'm probably heading for an early end. So I started to make healthy choices, and, you know, and everything improved from then. You know, like my motorcycle career took off again, and like I achieved much more after that period than I had before, and certainly during, you know. But all of them people, generally, I think there's maybe two people out of that whole sort of period of time, and all of them people that I knew at that time that I have any contact with at all anymore. And it's not because I've fallen out with them, or I think they're bad people, or they're not good, you know, any of them things. It's just that the law of attraction says I just can't be with them. They're not even going to come into my life, because that alcohol thing is a very low vibrational frequency. It's self-destructive, it's hurtful, and, you know, so it's a very low frequency. Now, you know, I haven't had a drink in probably 10 years, and, you know, I eat pretty good. I'm doing my yoga every day, and, you know, I'm this guy that you know now. So this guy, no matter how much I wanted to go back and be with them people, I couldn't. because I'd feel so awkward and out of place. And this is like trying to push the two ends of a magnet together. You just can't do it. It just, because they repel each other. So your heart is doing this. It's going, are you like me? Now a hug is the big knower in this, is that you get to someone, you give them a hug and you think, oh, no, that's lovely. You know, oh, that's so nice. And then the next person comes along and you're kind of going, ooh, okay. And you kind of like do this arm's length hug kind of thing. Well, that's the two magnets of the heart space going, we're so different that like we can't attract to each other at all. Do you understand that? And it's like you can try all you want for that person to be your friend, but they're not going to be. I mean, emotions get in the way of this, but if you understand the basic physics of it, you can start to understand that, you know, I don't need to be so emotional about this because it's just the natural law of the universe is saying, I can't be around this person. It doesn't mean I have to dislike them or like them or anything. I just have to understand that we're vibrating so differently from each other that it doesn't matter what we do, unless you go down to their frequency or they come up to yours, you're just not going to be able to coexist with each other. Do you understand? Okay, good. I like the nods because it makes me feel like I'm not sat here on my own. Okay, so what did we have? Beliefs. Oh, the next one's quite a big one. It's give up complaining. Oops, I was kind of a bit bad for this, have to admit, like, should say nothing. Give up on your constant need to complain about those many things, people, situations, events that make you unhappy, sad, and depressed. Nobody can make you unhappy. No situation can make you sad or miserable unless you allow it to. It's not the situation that triggers those feelings in you, but how you choose to look at it. Never underestimate the power of a positive thought. I have a friend, I call him the most positive negative person in the world. And what he does, I sit down with him. My wife Julia calls him the armchair guru. So his whole world is based upon, he never leaves the house and his whole world is based upon what he sees on television. So, but at the same time, you sit down with him and you'll have a conversation with him that might be like 15 minutes long. And for 14 minutes, 50 seconds of that, it is absolute 100% negativity. And he ends it with, but you know me, Dave, I'm positive. There's people worse off in the world than me. And I'm thinking, but you're not positive. You've just been negative for all of that conversation. And that one line at the end, I'm sorry, just does not do it for me. You know, we could have had a conversation about all of the positive things of a situation rather than all of the negative things of the situation, just as easily. And it's the choice. What do you choose to see in them things? Is it something to whinge and complain about? Because that's what because if your mind is in, I want to whinge and complain about something, the law of attraction sends that out. The universe goes, oh, whinging Minnie today. Let's give him or her loads of things and situations and scenarios to whinge about all day. Yeah? So when you complain about something, the universe is just going to give you something else to complain about. Here's an example. You get up in the morning, okay, jump out of bed, and you stub your toe on the edge of the bed. Oh, killer, right? You bounce out of the bedroom, you go down into the bathroom, you start to clean your teeth, you drop your toothpaste either down your shirt or into the bowl. Oh, God, here we go. You go into the kitchen, you might spill your tea, knock your toast over, whatever. And the next thing is you're going, oh, my God, I'm having one of them days. You know, we've come up with a name for it. I don't know whether that you call it that in America, but in England, I'm having one of those days. You know, one of those days where just every bit of shit there is hitting my fan. You know, well, I'm having one of them days. You know, so what's happening is that as you go through the day, you think, God, not again. What is it with today? What is it with today is that you are what is with today, because you just keep on putting it out there that you want more of these things to happen, so they keep happening. So the next day, you get up out of the same bed, you might open the curtains and the sun's shining, and you might think, oh, lovely day. You get up, you get dressed, you clean your teeth, no problem. You eat your toast, you get in your car, you get to work 5 minutes early because traffic was okay. You know, how you going? Oh, I'm having a good day today. So what's changed in the whole situation? You got out of the same bed, cleaned your teeth with the same toothbrush, ate the same breakfast, drank out of the same cup, walked down the same path, got in the same car, got out of the same car, walked into the same job. But one day was awful and the other day was great. What was the difference? Mind. One day you woke up, opened the curtains and thought, oh, it's a lovely day. There was a positive. You started the day with a positive. You know, I always start the day. This is a Wayne Dyer thing that made me laugh, because the older I get, the more apparent it sort of becomes to me. Is he said, I wake up every morning and go, thank God I'm alive. Another day. You know, and I'd never really thought about it before then. It's like, God, you know, and now I'm sort of like, you know, getting older, I start thinking, you know, I'm probably closer to the end than I am the beginning now, you know, so every day I'm grateful for, because that 10-year period, I didn't think I'd be getting through that, let alone being able to sit here and talk to you about it and things like that. So, shall we move on? Give up the luxury of criticism. Give up your need to criticize things, events, people who are different than you are. We are all different, yet we are all the same. We all want to be happy. We all want to love and be loved. And we all want to be understood. We all want something, and something is wished by all of us. You know, criticism's a bummer, really. You know, because it's like, I mean, there's constructive criticism, but generally most criticism isn't that. It's somebody's agenda. You know, I've found a lot of times, especially because, you know, like I said, you know, from where I came from to becoming a yoga teacher, it was just not, the people just could not understand what was happening. They thought I was sort of changing and being weird and, you know, and all of these things. And they just criticized me. And I'm the same person, exactly the same person, same sense of humor, still ride my motorbike, still everything, exactly the same person. I'm just not chronically depressed anymore. You know, I'm not in that deep hole of fear and depression. But I'm exactly the same person. I just understand things a lot clearer. And I did that through, you know, taking the criticism, not letting it bother me, and knowing in my heart, this is, I'm just following this here, not this, you know. The heart's working on that universal level. What's good for me and what isn't. Yeah. So sometimes the criticism was like, you just don't need to hear it. And the other thing is that sometimes you don't need to give it. You know, it doesn't really matter. You know, everybody is like, you know, women, oh, them shoes don't go with that bag. I've heard that said, if them shoes do not go with that bag. Who cares? You know, but it had to be said. But why did it have to be said? That's another one of them voice. That's one of them people living in your head. you know, that has to sort of appease himself to think that your shoes go with your bag. So somehow in that equation, I'm better than that other person because my bag and shoes match. You know, maybe they, you know, they don't care. That's the other thing, isn't it? You know. So criticism is, again, it's just negative energy, really, unless it's like, you know, we're in a different situation in here where, you know, I can, anything I'm saying about practices and stuff like that is constructive to help you understand more. You know, it's never meant to sort of belittle or make you feel bad. Yeah. So number 9. Oh, no. Here we go. We nearly missed number 8 out then. That would have been tragic. So give up your need to impress others. Stop trying so hard to be something you are not, just to make others like you. It does not work this way. The moment you stop trying so hard to be something you are not, the moment you take off all the masks, the moment you accept and embrace the real you, you will find people will be just drawn to you effortlessly. Does that make sense? Because like, I like all of you, so you can stop trying to impress me. So I think, I mean, I grew up in the 80s, which was like all about impressing people with the best mullet and like the best tracksuit and the best and the best and the best. And it was like people used to try and outdance each other in the street in the 80s. That's a true story. That people used to walk around with rolls of lino under their arm so they could quickly roll it out onto the floor and break dance. You know what I mean? So I was all about impressing. And then, of course, I'm a front man in a rock and roll band, so you know it's just all about the show and trying to impress and this larger than life sort of character. So for me, it was like, and as well, I'm from like I'm the youngest brother, or was the youngest brother in 3. You know, so then they're always older, they always know more, and like I was always trying to be part of it, you know, like be in the gang. So my whole life has been trying to impress someone basically, and like, and the minute I stopped, people seem to like me much more and kind of accept me. I think was the thing of, rather than me trying to, I'd always try and be the person for any situation. So whatever the scenario is, a sort of different version of me would turn up and I'd try and handle it in that thing instead of just being myself and dealing with it how I would. And then all of a sudden, when you start doing things like that, people start saying things to you like, God, you're really cool, aren't you? And you're not. You're just yourself, you know. And cool is not trying to be somebody else. I tried it, and I'm just not very good at being someone else. That's why I always say, like, about when you're teaching, it's important that you teach how you want to teach. You know, I'm not looking for a clone of me. You know, I want you to really express yourself on what makes you happy, your flow. And if that's yin yoga, teach yin yoga. If it's fast vinyasa, teach that. If it's meditation, teach that. If it's all of them things, teach all of it. But do it your way, you know, with your personality and, you know, and your life and how you've got to where you are, and share that stuff. Okay. So yeah, impressing others is, you know, it's a road to misery, really. Yeah. Okay. Number 9, give up your resistance to change. Change is good. Change will help you move from A to B. Change will help you make improvements in your life and also the lives of those around you. Follow your bliss, embrace change, and don't resist it. So I have a quote here from Joseph Campbell. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls. So when you're following your bliss, what you're doing is you're following that vibration, what you want, you know, that what do I really want? What is that thing that I'm, because as we're trying to manifest something, change has to happen in order for you to go from what you are to something else. Yeah. So the one thing, now we're going to go back to the physics thing again, just to bring physics back into it. Okay, now the one thing that we know is constant in the universe is change. Everything is in a constant flux of change. Yeah. Like I said, you haven't got the same liver that you had 7 weeks ago. Every cell in that has changed. So you're not even the same person that you were. Your consciousness might be the same inside there, but you know, every year you're just reproducing yourself and changing all the time. The planets are spinning and moving. They're not just spinning around, they're actually moving through space and all of these things. So, excuse me. So once again, once we understand that everything is change, and we can't have we can't have progress without change, because something has to change from your present moment in order to become the next moment. It has to change. So we hang on to all sorts of things because like we get emotionally attached to them, but sometimes our emotional attachments can actually hold us back from us moving forward. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to, I'm dumping everybody in my past. It's just that emotional, how do I explain this? Okay, we've all had a relationship and we've probably all had a breakup in that relationship, haven't we? Put your hand up if the answer is yes. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, right, nobody has to say what it is or whatever, but I want you to go back in your mind to that very moment of it all happening. Okay. So can anybody tell me what color shoes the other person was wearing? Put your hand up if you can. Okay. Can anybody tell me what color trousers the other person was wearing? What color the carpet was? Or the floor? What was on the telly in the background? What the wallpaper was? No. Okay, so this is my point. We don't remember any of that. What we remember is the emotion, how it made you feel at that moment. So each one of you at this moment has gone back to that thing and thought, oh, and it's either been that bitch or that, but you know, it's like, or whatever the feeling was at the time. You don't even remember what was said. You might remember maybe 2 or 3 lines that was said to you, and they're the ones that really cut deep, you know what I mean? You said, and they really hit you deep in the heart. So you remember them, but all of the rest of the conversation, don't remember any of it. What you remember is the emotion. Yeah. So the emotion is the attachment. So as long as you go back to that, every time you go back to that memory and that emotion comes up, it means you're still attached to that situation in your life. But when you actually look out of that, if you imagine that situation going on and you're looking at it as somebody else looking in, maybe it's your friend, you are your friend looking at you in this relationship. Regardless of what was said and all of them things, in there's a lesson for you to learn. Okay, and that's behind the emotion. So the emotion is preventing you seeing the lesson, because all you see is the emotion. So look at yourself from not that person who's all emotional in there and go, what did I have to learn from here? And the thing is, it has to start is with like, first thing that happens in a relationship is the other person goes, you should have done this and you should have done that and you should have done the other and you should have done this and you didn't do that, and that's why it's all happening. So it's all the other person, generally. So this is back to blame. what did you do? Could you have done more in that relationship to make it work? Now, I can tell you right now, the answer to that is yes. But the reason why you didn't is because you were never meant to be in that relationship anyway. That wasn't your long-term life relationship that you were going to, run off into the sunset to anyway. It was a scenario that was created in your life for you to learn a lesson. Now, you either learn the emotion or you learn the lesson. You either get stuck in the emotion or you get past the emotion and find out what was it I was meant to learn from that. I was meant to learn that I could have done more. So it's not about what the other person done ever. They've met you for exactly the same reason. They've got something to learn themselves. Now, it's not your responsibility to find out whether they learned it or not. That's their journey and their story and their life. And that's probably years ago now anyway. So why would you want to go back to that person anyway? It's about you. You go past the emotion and you think, right, okay, yes, I could have done more in that relationship. What was that more? Okay, so the next relationship I have, there are my lessons. That's where I need to do more in this relationship to show up, to be part of this. And then you lift up out of that instantly. It's like zoom, your vibrational level's just gone zoop up to here. So that person who didn't do anything and didn't do the washing up and didn't take the trash out and watch football all the time and all of them things that you hated won't even come back into your life anymore because they're vibrating down there and you've just gone bump because you understood. I learned. I didn't keep myself trapped in the emotional vibration of that experience. I learned the lesson. I raised my vibrational frequency because I was truthful with myself. I got past the voices in the head, which are the emotion. They're triggered by the emotion. That person is a voice in your head spouting off. You're heartbroken underneath it, waiting to find out whether you learned the lesson or not, because you don't want to have that experience again. Does that make sense? So when you go back to these scenarios, you probably find that they're very similar. Like mine, like I said, was just this samsara. That's a loop. We call it samsara in yoga. It's these loops that we find ourselves in our life. And the habits. We get in the habit of being in that relationship and it being the same. And the why me? It's a habit. We need to break the habit. The why me? Well, why you? Ask yourself the question, find out the answer, and then move on from that. Remove the emotion from it. It's easier to do after the event. Remove the emotion. I'll just point that out. In the event, emotions are going to come up. But then, even if they do, take yourself back to a quiet place and think about them emotions that have come up and where they're coming from. Because it'll be something that's triggering you in there. It'll be a fear or an insecurity that somebody's triggering, or you're triggering through your fear of it. Like for me, a lot of my experience in my life, I was is loss. From the very word go, I was a twin, and my twin died in the womb. So my very first experience is loss. And then, I lost my father, my brother, now my other brother, and then all granddads and grandmas. And it's just been this constant thing of loss. So I realized that my experience of that has created a reality for myself, a belief system in myself, that I would create relationships that I knew were going to break down, just to get back to me going, see, loss, it always happens to me, it happens all the time. And I was creating scenarios in the end based on this. I have to admit, yoga has exposed all of this to me and made me understand. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of breath work and meditation and all of these things for all of this to come up and for me to understand it properly. It was no way was it like just a 2-minute process, this. It was over a few years and a lot of crying, a lot of admitting things to myself, and stuff like that. So I would create relationships, even friend relationships, that I knew eventually kind of there'd be some conflict and it would break up, and I could go, oh, justify this to myself. When I started to understand that, then I could start to not do that. I understand that this is a self-destruct button that I'm kind of pressing for myself. I'm setting it up already, to do it. And I notice my whole family does it. I've since gone back and talked to my mum about it and said, you know what we do? And she's gone, oh my God, I've never even thought of it that way. But she could see how she'd done that from being born during the Second World War. Fear. You're born in fear. The whole world is at war. It's the war to end all wars and all of that, So that fear, I'm talking to my mum who's 85 and she's having these realizations about this now, and she's going, oh my God, and it's great to be able to do that with her because she's been the font of my knowledge all my life. When I've needed that time of need, it's me mum. I've gone to me mum and she's always had an answer, whether it's been right or wrong. She's always had an answer. She's always had a cuddle and a positive thing to say. And, so to be able to bring these things back to her now and see it making a difference in her life and her being open to have them conversations with me, it's a gift. But I only got to do that to get to the truth of myself. And, and they're the tough questions that you ask yourself. And it's like, and when you get past all of them other chatterings, you find you in there. And then from that place, you can start building your life from truth, from what you really know. Not what all these voices and chatterboxes are doing in your mind, what you are underneath all that, and you get that through looking at all of your experiences and seeing what they did to you. And when you understand what they did to you, generally it'll be the emotion attached to it that you've allowed it to be because you've invested into that emotion rather than getting away from the emotion and seeing the lesson in every situation to grow from. Does that make sense? Have you enjoyed that? Thumbs up for a yes, Dave. Yeah, good. Okay, so we're up to, that was number 9, wasn't it? So we'll finish them off in the next weeks, but the boss is back. It's time for everybody to get your singing shoes on. Okay, so I shall mute myself and hand you back to the lovely Dashama.
Awesome, you guys. I love you, Dave. You're the best. Dave is such a cool teacher because he always has a lot of stories. And one of the things that I learned from all the years of being a student and a teacher of yoga is stories really connect to people. If you listen to Sri Ravi Shankar, you listen to specifically to Sadhguru, or even like Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, people, any great speaker and teacher, they tell stories, and it can really help you to relate and understand the topic even more. So who here, leave a comment, who here felt like that talk Dave just gave was helpful? Dave is such a blessing. He always has so many beautiful things to say. I'm going to we're going to do this mantra now. Now, there's lots of mantras. I'm going to just start out by saying that, hey, my love, it's going to be so great because we're going to do more and more. So just today, we'll do just 1 or 2. Yay, Dave is the best. But basically, one of the things that I was saying earlier about this mantra that I'm going to do today, like usually every day I will sing the bliss mantra. Leave a comment if you guys remember the bliss mantra. I've done that with you guys, I think, before. And anyway, we're gonna do that. We might do that one as well today. The three ones I like the best is the gratitude song, the bliss mantra, and then I actually really love love this one, which is a Hare Krishna. The main reason that's so cool about Hare Krishna mantra is it really gets you into a blissful, joyous, celebratory energy. So it can, all mantras are going to always shift your energy, and they are a form of meditation in the sense that you're going to feel interconnected to the source, you know, to God consciousness. And that's really the purpose of it. It's a meditation to feel as one with the source. It's a devotion. So, for example, in yoga, they call it bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga is path of, you know, devotion through mantras, through music. And some people make that their whole yoga path. And so if you're like a musical type, you might find this to be your path, where you actually end up, let's say, wanting to just lead mantras and not do the asana teaching, which is also okay. I know people that just lead breath work. I know people who just lead meditation. I know people who just lead the mantras. So there's lots of options. But as a yoga teacher, the beautiful part is you can do all of it, or you can just pick what you like the best and make that a big part of your life, you know, contribution. So I'm going to play the mantra from my phone, and I want everybody to really sing along. Now, here's the thing. 2 things about it. Number 1, don't worry about your voice. This is the number 1 issue. Everybody's sitting here like, I don't have a good voice. So that's a big part to overcome. This comes with confidence, but also not caring. They call it IDGAF. I don't give a fuck, right? This means like, don't care what anybody else thinks of you. So like, if your voice is loud and boisterous and but you're enjoying it, don't worry. Now, if you're in a household where other people are and you might like bother them with the singing, you might tell them in advance, like, hey guys, about to do my mantras, hopefully it's cool. Get permission maybe if you need to. But overall, you have to be able to belt it out with a form of reckless abandonment, is what they call it, which is basically like, just let it all out and sing to the top of your voice. I was doing this on the beach last night, and it's so beautiful and fun and enjoyable. So we're gonna do this one. Now the other thing, besides not caring what people think about your voice, is number 2, the words. Because when you're just learning a mantra, you have to master the art of listening really closely so that you can do it. Now this specific one is called kirtan. So he sings it and then a chorus repeats what he says. This is the easiest way of mantras because you hear it and then you repeat it. So this is actually easier, and it's a great way to learn to start. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can shut my door. Don't know if that really helped, but it's quieter now. Anyway, so basically this one is like Hare Krishna, right? So just to give you a little background about what this means so you can feel connected, I did mention earlier, but Krishna is the God that represents unconditional love and devotion to God, you know, and he plays the flute and he attracts all the ladies. But the nice thing about him is that he literally is this beautiful energy of unconditional love. And when you chant his name, really see if you can tap into that feeling in your heart. And you will, even if you don't mean to, you probably will, just because of the way this mantra goes. Now let's look and see, because I think, yeah, this is 20 minutes. So I'm going to put this here, and we're going to do it together. And if at any point you feel like standing up and singing and dancing, it's also okay, because it gets really high. The vibration gets really high, and you get really like ecstatic. So you could dance too. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Hari
Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna. See if you can put more energy, you guys. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Woo.
So take a deep breath into your heart. Exhale out of your mouth. Put your hands on your heart. Hopefully you were chanting with us. I saw some people really into it. Some people weren't yet, but sometimes it takes a little time to warm into it. But the more you get into it and you feel it, it's just really, really, you can feel it in your heart. You feel it in your energy. It's like a wash. It washes your energy field, you know, just with pure light, bringing you into a higher vibration by bringing the vibration of God into you through the sound, through the words, through the mantra, through the music, through the ecstatic bliss of the joy of it. So I love you all. If you want, we can do one more. I actually have the bliss song. That's so I like the bliss song, and I also really like the bliss mantra, and then the thank you mantra. Those are my two that I usually do every day, or as much as I can. Yeah, I can post a link. Only thing is that's on the computer and this is on my phone. But if you guys, let me see how I can do it. I know I have a strategy. I can do it like this. I have, 1 second. Leave a comment, you guys, if you liked that mantra, or like if you felt it. Liking is one thing, but did you feel it? You know, and the feeling of it is where you get the experience. It's not like a doing, you know, it's like doing, then you have this experience where you're going through the motions. Whereas with this, you only benefit when you feel it. So it's quite interesting like that.
We're going to do the Gaia mantra.
What's that?
Are we going to do you said we might do the Gaia mantra?
Okay, so here's the question. You guys want to do Gayatri mantra? Or, because the only thing with the Gayatri mantra is it's a little bit like more complex. It has more words. I'd like to do that next week so that I'll write out the words and we'll learn it. And I mean, all of these have words, but like the bliss one, for example, is the nice thing about it is that it's English, so I think it's easier for people to understand some of these Sanskrit words. It takes a little because you're also learning another language. Who here is interested in learning Sanskrit? Leave a comment. Hey, everybody. Hi. I would have felt it, but I can't hear. I need to fix my audio. Oh, next week. I love these, though. I always feel them. Okay. Yeah, Betsy didn't get to hear it. That's sad. But no worries, you will have it next week. We will do these more and more. I love mantras, you guys, so as long as you guys are into it, I'm all about it. And I sing mantras every day. You know, when I met Jay Shetty, leave a comment if you guys know who Jay Shetty is. He's really super awesome. He's on, you know, he's a filmmaker, but he's a monk. He was a monk, but now he does so many good things for the world. But basically, when I met him, it was actually really cool. It was at this place called Bhakti Yoga Shala. Yeah, his wife is beautiful. I mean, they're like the most beautiful people, just inside and out, you know. But I met them, and it was actually, he was only there, she wasn't there. But I met him at the Bhakti Yoga Shala, which is in Santa Monica, and they were doing a kirtan, which was so nice. I hardly go to kirtans, you know, public kirtans anymore, but I went because it was actually being led by his teacher. And that was so amazing for me to do it, because they were chanting, and they come from the Hare Krishna tradition. So that was really amazing, because it reminded me how beautiful the what do you call it? The Hare Krishna mantra is. Because for a while I got a little bit away from it, because I was like, I don't know, there's a part of the mind that wants to say, this sounds very cultish, or something like that. So, when you think from that perspective, you can build up resistance to chanting, because you're like, is this weird? Is this religious? Is this gonna um, be in any way in conflict with my beliefs about the way that I see God? Because I'm not a Hindu or any of that. So you have to get outside of all of that, because on the other side of all of that is this ecstatic joy and bliss, and like just letting go of all of the mind, the thoughts, this judgment, this worries, doubts, fears, boom, out. And then just getting into the mantra, you feel it. And the feeling is the proof. Like, there's no other proof that matters. Like, literally feeling it, you're like, yes, this is great. Especially if you can really keep up with the pace of that one. Who here was able to keep up with the pace of this mantra? It's like very fast. It has a lot of energy. And when you align with that energy, you end up getting caught up into it, and you actually get all that energy inside of you, which is such a gift. Okay, I'm trying to get you guys the link. Post a comment if you guys want to do the bliss one. Otherwise, we can kind of close for today, and then we can do more next week. I know you guys you've been doing great today, so I want to give you the option if you feel like you're complete for the day, or if you want to do more. Because we just, this is my whole life, and I just love doing it. So any amount of this that we can do, I always love. But at the same time, I'm happy to. Let's see, we have 3 minutes left. Next week is fine. Okay, that's fine. And you guys, I'll send out the link when I do an email this week. I apologize that I didn't do the email this week, and also didn't record. The reason I didn't do the email is because I didn't record, but I'm gonna put those other videos in the module, so that for anybody who's watching replay, they can do the Miracle Morning, the Jack Canfield, and the Oneness Meditation. All of those can be in those spots that I forgot to record a couple of these workshops. But also Dave mentioned that he had a couple of great videos, and so we can put his in there as well from his YouTube channel. And right, that's where it's at, Dave, in the YouTube. And you have a couple of workshops that you did that were kind of similar, you said?
I actually did. I had Sophie here when she was doing her 200 hours, and we did the adjustments and an alignment class with her and Chris in the class. So we filmed all of that, and also, yeah, I've got quite a bit, but I mean, I'll pass that on to Dashama, and then Dashama can.
Yeah, I'll add all those in this week. We're doing a lot of things, so you're going to have Dave's workshops in there. I'm going to put an email out to everybody. I'm going to explain about the non-recording of those too, but we have replacements, so it's fine for anybody who just needs to do the replay. We have really good replay videos for that. And then, like I said, we're going to continue with 30-day yoga challenge this whole month. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. And I'm, always trying to share as many of those that I get tagged. So, and also on the Pranashama page, we're going to be featuring every one of you guys that post. We're going to pick your best pictures that you share, and we're going to feature you on the Pranashama page as well. And so keep going and doing the great things that you're doing. October, we're really going to kick off the training with all the open modules. You're going to see everything in there. You're going to be able to do all the meditations, all the breath work, all of the kriyas, any mantras. We're going to have Kundalini in there. We're going to have Tantra, I said. We're going to have all the live workshops. And this is all coming in October. So it's already in there. We're just organizing it perfectly, putting the homework assignments, so it's all organized for you. Any questions, also, you guys?
The things that we did in them other modules, we will go over again. As we go through the months, we'll go. We haven't finished teaching by a long shot. So we will go over the pose families again, and alignments again, and all of them things. And you will all teach again. So we haven't sort of moved away from that now. We will be bringing that back in as well to fit it in. So you'll be teaching meditations and things as well, each giving a little guided meditation as we go along. through the things. But all them other things, post families and that, we will go over them again. So although we didn't record it, it will be in another module again. So there will be a recap. So the people who missed it the first time will be able to get the recap in them future modules.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I love you. Thank you so much, Dave, for your great energy and all of your beautiful wisdom that you share. We love you so much. So grateful. Really looking forward to the rest of the, this journey with you all. And feel free to reach out anytime. And I'm so proud of everybody. Keep up the great work. If you have any questions, reach out. We're here for you. I love you. Namaste. Satnam. Ashe. Have a great night.